This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good morning, everyone, wherever you are in the world. It may not even be morning time for you, but it is morning time here in South Africa. It's 5:30 and we're just looking at the sun, which is quite high in the sky now, just breaking through all of those rain clouds. We did have a lot of rain last night, but hopefully it's going to be a sunny day. So that means it's now time for your live safari through the African bush. Look how dramatic that scene in front of us is. Isn't it beautiful? Breathtaking, one would say. And welcome aboard, everyone. It's a pleasure to have you here, as always. We never quite know what we're in store for when we start our live safari. Across many different locations, anything can happen at any time. But quarantine's a good place to start, which is exactly why we've stopped to admire the sunrise and also to listen and to look to see if anything's happening on quarantine. My name is Lauren and I do have Simon on camera today. And quarantine's just an area that we have in Djuma Private Game Reserve. It's an open clearing and lots of different animals use this area, which is exactly why it's a good time to look at the ground for tracks, listen for sounds and just generally be hyper aware. So it's your live safari, everyone, which means you can talk to us. That's the whole point. So please do send in your questions and comments. Use the hashtag WildEarth on Twitter, @FC on the YouTube chat stream. Or another simple way is just by registering on the WildEarth website. Head over to the live safari page and you can submit your questions there. Kids, if you're watching, please do talk to us. Your questions are the absolute best, but you send them in via email and that's kidsquestions@wildearth.tv. Now, I didn't sleep much last night. It was definitely raining a lot. The weather was not good, but luckily it's dry for us this morning. We've got our rain roof on just in case, and it's 21 degrees Celsius, 69 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm thinking about bumbling onto the Hyena's end, just catching up with them, and then seeing what else I can find. What do you think, Simon? Shall we? Let's do it. The Hyena Den's a good place to start, and yesterday when we went there, we saw them with Tlalamba's kill. So that allowed us to just piece that mystery together, why Tlalamba wasn't there yesterday, what happened to her kill. Well, it ended up in the jaws of Hart and Swazi. It obviously dropped. They did not climb the tree, I must add, and therefore... What do you see, Simon? Oh, dogs! Where? Where? Dogs! Simon's got me excited. Oh my goodness, okay, this is Simon's dream sighting, I must say. Oh, okay everyone, we've got wild dogs. Hello, doggies. You are remarkably still and posing for us, thank you. Simon, are you happy?
Very excited.
Oh, there's a hyena, Simon. There's a hyena following them. Okay, they're on the move. They're on the move. Look, the hyena keeps a distance. I don't know who it is. But this individual's going to follow them until they kill. Now, everyone, I'm just going to call it in on the radio so we can get more assistance just in case we lose them. I wonder what pack it is. Stations, we've got mud ash on the southern end of quarantine. At the moment, they're static.
Thanks, Lauren. And did you copy the telemarties on Cheetah line?
No, I didn't. Thank you. I'll try and stay with these dogs as long as I can. Other stations are welcome to join.
Okay, we've just left the telemarties. They're about 100 meters from the junction.
Sorry, everyone. I just wanted to give them the update. Okay, Simon, are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
You're ready, okay. Now, they're moving very slowly. It looks like there's puppies. I wonder if it is the Pungwe pack, but it may not be. We've got lots of packs of wild dogs here. The hyena's hiding. I see you. Yes, I do. It looks like Hart, but I can't possibly see. Oh, look, they're advertising Tumbeta House yet again. The wild dogs absolutely love Tumbeta. There you go. Free advertising. See, they're thinking where to go, but quarantine, as I just mentioned, is actually the most perfect place for dogs to hunt. It's open, but the grass is long enough right now. They're not big. Wild dogs are not big. They've got sort of long sausage bodies and long legs, but they're not huge. And you see them all in a line. I think they're going to start hunting. Impala are the perfect prey for wild dogs, and they hunt by coursing. Oh, there's a hyena right here. No, it's not Hart. I think it's Comet. Excuse our rain pole. I could be wrong, but it looks like it's blind in the right eye. Are you just going to follow the dogs the entire morning? That's a little bit naughty. Okay, let's just get a little bit closer, Simon. Yes, it's Comet. Especially with the grass being long. Excuse me, Comet. You can really easily lose dogs. So they hunt by coursing, and what that means is it's nothing like leopards and lions, nothing at all. They outrun their prey. They just run, run, run. Their bodies are specially adapted, unique specializations to run. They've got enlarged nasal passages, and they'll just keep going. Their bodies are light. Their skulls are light. Nothing weighs them down. Not big shoulder blades like leopards. Not lots of muscles like lions. And they'll either catch their prey and start to disembowel it while it's running, which I know sounds very unpleasant, or they'll wait until their prey drops from exhaustion or just generally tripping up. But I must say they've got about an 80 to 85% success rate, and they kill very, very quickly. It's a lot quicker than the likes of your leopards and lions. It's over quickly for the prey. You're all seeing such a lovely surprise. I know. Simon and I had no idea they were there, and that's how it works in the wild. You've just got to search. Some days you're lucky, and some days you're really not. But every day Simon's been saying, I want to see them a dash, I want to see them a dash, and here we have them. AC, they're used to hyenas following them. They have a very strong smell, and it's not pleasant. Everyone, it's really not pleasant. And look at Comet, he's staying far away, but they're used to hyenas. And normally when dogs make a kill, the hyenas will come in and try to steal it. It's just how it works out here. And the dogs sort of fight back, the hyenas fight back. But essentially a pack this size, I'm hoping that some of you can send in the IDs for this pack. A pack this size could kill a hyena, absolutely. But it's rare. They tend to just, like leopards and hyenas, they tend to just battle it out. The dogs are used to hyenas appearing and trying to steal their kill. Wild dogs are not really scavengers. They do tend to make fresh kills a lot. And because they have such a strong odour, it's very easy for hyenas to follow them. Some are walking right past Tombeta and some are walking straight. The pack's splitting a little bit here. And it's such an almost altruistic society, a wild dog pack. Altruistic. The social dynamics of a wild dog are incredible, and I think if I had to be any of the apex predators out here, I would choose wild dog. Just for the pack dynamics, not for the smell. I don't want to smell like a wild dog. But it's an even tighter society than hyenas. There's no hierarchy as such like the hyenas. There's an... Okay. I'm not a... I don't want to lose the dogs here. They're going in a direction I thought they wouldn't. Comet, my dear. Where are you going? Now we have a traffic jam. Toot toot, Comet. There you go, that's my boy. Leah, they get food. Wild dogs, as I mentioned, don't really scavenge. They tend to make fresh kills, and they're messy. They tear the kills apart and they leave the remains behind, especially bones and all sorts of inedible parts. So mostly, the hyenas get a free meal. I'm just keeping my eye on all of them. There's some here as well. So it's a win-win for the hyena every time, so it's worth just following them. They're very messy eaters. Just like a shark, they sort of tear things apart and things go flying. Oh dear, it's toilet time. Well spotted, Simon. Very well spotted. Normally in Pala, do not alarm call for dogs. There's no time. You've just got to run. But wild dogs will eat a variety of prey. There's actually wild dogs in, I think it's near Botswana, where they're known to take down buffalo. Buffalo. They're famed for it. But to be honest, at least in the Lowveld, at least in this area, it's mostly impala, steenbok, duiker. But they can go for much bigger prey like wildebeest, even zebra. All we need is for the prey species to be on the ground. It's so nice to see dogs again. We go through periods of not seeing them, and in periods of seeing them everywhere. Has anyone been able to identify this pack yet? Hashtag WildEarth. Looks like there's lots of puppies. Okay, so we're not sure what pack it is, but it's been confirmed that it's not the Pungwe pack. Aha. But these are definite youngsters. You see that? Africa's second most endangered carnivore, next to the Ethiopian wolf. Trunk, you're asking at what age do the pups start really moving with the pack? Anywhere around 6 to 8 weeks, you'll start to see the pups really moving with the pack. They do den, and they're normally said to be sort of sedentary to that den for about 3 months. But normally the adults will start to get the pups moving, but they may not travel great distances. But they'll be highly mobile after 3 months, and they'll leave the den. They're no longer sort of relying on the den after 3 months. They'll follow the adults by scent, and they'll start to learn how to become a wild dog. But around the 8-week mark, they do start to move a little bit. They do start to spend a little bit of time away from the den, but not following the pack like this. So the denning period is a 3-month period, and they're very much restricted to one area. Miss Impala is doing very well to stand his ground, I must say. Maybe they fed already. That's a possibility. The sun's quite high in the sky. They could have already had a meal. Now, there's very little aggression within a pack, and that's what's so beautiful. Very little aggression. And they all sort of submit to the alpha pair. All the dogs respect and come under the alpha male and the alpha female, but the puppies in any pack are the most privileged. The puppies will always get looked after. And if a dog becomes really ill or injured or just elderly in general, which restricts them in their effectiveness at hunting, the rest of the pack actually cares for them and feeds them. That's how sort of strong the bonds are in a wild dog pack. They all understand their place. And I believe there was an alpha female fairly recently in a pack from Botswana. And she lost one of her forelegs in a hunt, which was rather sad. And really, for any other predator, that would be a death sentence. Completely. But she remained the alpha female for quite a few years after that, even with one foreleg missing. Excuse me. And she continued to breed and raise pups, because she was being looked after by the rest of the pack. That's incredible. It's all remarkably quiet here. Normally, when you find wild dogs on quarantine, it's mayhem. Okay, I'm going to stay with this pack for as long as I can. What a fantastic start. And we're now going to send you across to Andrew to say good morning.
Good luck, Lorraine. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Djuma Private Game Reserve here in Sabi. What we got here, we got a herd of buffalo, which is really amazing. And I was actually talking about them yesterday, that they're not around, but they're here, they come in. And I'm Andrew on camera. I have David this morning. Just heard him. And then looks like here we got a herd of buffalo. African buffalo, as you can see. Looks like this is where they spend most of the night. And they're busy chewing their cud, most of them. They've probably been doing this whole night though. Which is now slightly some part of the sky is open, some part of the sky is still cloudy. The temperature of the day, 21 degrees Celsius, 69 Fahrenheit. But, you know, maybe it's going to be more warmer than this. Remember, everyone, we're coming to you from this location, so we would like to hear from you. For that, you can drop your question and comment under the age you still use, kids questions at WildEarth.tv. And also on Twitter, #WildEarth, and YouTube channels at FC. Also, WildEarth.tv. But simple way is also go to WildEarth website and register there. Then from there, you head over to WildEarth Safari Live. And then from there, you start to submit your questions and comment. We would like to hear from you. It's such a beautiful area here where we got a buffalo just came in. I think they came in last night, I believe so. Where they come from, I'm not sure. We'll find out because we just bump on them right here lying down. And then always amazing to have buffaloes in the area that has a chance. Maybe lions will be behind them later on. If they don't arrive today, maybe later today they will be interested on following them behind. You know, if they would come from the west, you know, they will probably drag down all the way the Djuma Pride down here to Djuma. But if they come from the north, then it may happen that you'll find out, you know, across to the west, they usually do these herds. It's great that we started to see a herd like this well developed well. Where a few years ago they had a problem with drought and all of them just lost their lives due to the hunger. But now we see a great number of them. So in maybe 5 years later, there will be so many herds, different herds, because they breed throughout the year. One of the cow here, female. As you can see, her horn still just like the ordinary horn compared to the males where they would have helmet horse in front of their head. She's actually staring at us. So Leanne asking what the buffalo lifespan. So they anything from 24, 26 between there. So just like a cow, they don't actually live that long. We're talking about here in the wild, Some they made it up there, some even slightly more than that, but you know, they in a wild where their life is threatened from, you know, lions' diseases most. These TB, which sometimes they would be infected. Anthraxes. So diseases that actually infect cows in a farming area, in the villages out there, they also have the same situation, this animal. But all of them look healthy right now. I might say all of them that I see here, they're all great looking condition. So I'm gonna, you know, drive around here, see if there was anything behind this buffalo and where do they come from. I'm gonna be sending you to Tswalu to say, for them to say hello to everyone. Here we are. Dumela, good morning and welcome to a wonderful, vibrant green Tswalu Kalahari. And we are meandering west this morning, riding these beautiful green dunes. Good morning, my name is Carl. Thank you for joining myself and Craig on this wonderful journey out here in Tswalu Kalahari. We are heading west, and we are heading west to find and search for anything that we could scratch up in between these beautiful undulating dunes going out west. We're going out to a concrete area, so that's where the sediment slightly changes. And we are going to be on the look for any high-profile birds out there. That's where we have 1 or 2 species ranging out, especially falcons at this point in time. And then for all the little creepy, crawly, tiny little things that we normally just drive by. That's what we will be searching for this morning. Lovely, cool conditions. Just like our colleagues out in the east, we also had a bit of rain last night. A good amount of rain fell, where we actually have physical puddles in certain sections of the roads coming to camp this morning. So that build-up that we saw yesterday afternoon accumulated into enough mass to produce a decent amount of rain, which we are very lucky for, very thankful for. Like I mentioned yesterday, cloud cover is so important for that moisture to stay locked into the soil for as long as possible. So the plants can just soak it all up. What you're looking at, that thick strip in the middle there, that's the dominance of a 3-thorn, typically growing in between the dune streets here on the western sections of Tswalu. So we're going to continue a bit further west, and we'll send you off and see you when you get back this side.
Have you been watching WildEarth and dreamt of being right there on safari with one of the guides? Well, now you can. WildEarth is offering you a chance to buy a ticket to dream. You or a friend can hop on board a live WildEarth show and join our guide on safari. The ticket is redeemable at any of our locations, anytime in the future. Only a limited number of tickets are available, so don't wait. Get your ticket now and start dreaming. Terms and conditions apply.
My name is Ross, and I'm a field guide at andBeyond Phinda Private Game Reserve. I love getting questions from guests on WildEarth because I love sharing and learning information about nature with new people, and it also makes me feel like you're all joining me in real life. If you want to ask a question on WildEarth, then you need to register on our website. Once registered, go to our live safari page and submit your question below our live feed.
This is Rusty. He's my favorite vehicle and we've been through all the good times here in the bush. Now, if you feel a connection to Djuma Game Reserve like I do, then we have a fantastic opportunity for you. You can have your name engraved on a brushed metal plaque just like this one, and we will attach it to Rusty so you can always be with us on safari in spirit. We will even send you a digital photograph once your plaque is mounted on Rusty. Spaces are limited, so grab your spot now.
Hello, boy. You are a monster. And he's coming right up to us. Hello, boy. Oh, settle down. Settle down. He is very, very close. He's pushing his trunk against the car. You can feel the car moving. Hey, 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 hey. Stop that.
Expect the unexpected here on WildEarth daily.
We've still got them, I'm very glad. They're making decisions as a pack. There's one up the front who seems to be sort of the most in control, and this one's quite injured. I don't know if it's one of the pups. You'll see in just a moment. It's got a little, there's an adult coming, so let's see. Ouchie. Now, James Richard, thank you so much. You're confirming it's the Sands pack. A pack I have not seen in quite a while, in a very long time, actually. Ouch. Wonder what happened to that little pup. So thank you for that ID. Okay, we're just going to stay a little bit closer because in summer, it's very tricky to follow wild dogs. We're going to try and keep up with them. Quarantine is normally where there's lots and lots of impala. So I imagine as soon as they spot a herd, they're going to be off. They're definitely hungry. It's breakfast time after all. I'm just going to go around this way, Simon. There's other vehicles. Try and make space for everyone. See how tightly they're sticking together. Okay, let me just go up a little bit ahead and then we'll stop. Okay, Simon, work your magic. It's quite surprising that there's no impala anywhere to be seen on quarantine right now. Just going to move away from this vehicle. There we go. Can't see a single impala. Maybe they're already aware that the dogs are here. Jolly Whipsky, you're asking, are the dens similar to hyenas? In terms of, is it an old termite mound? Yes, it is. It's fairly similar. A deep burrow or an old termite mound that they can stash little puppies or cubs inside. So very similar, yes. At least here in the Lowveld, but in the Masai Mara, for example, you will find that the hyenas up there don't really use termite mounds because there's not many, not like there are here in this area, and therefore they sort of use burrows and underground caves. But at least here in the sands, in the Lowveld, yes, the dogs will also disuse termite mounds and burrows. Okay, let's keep up. They're definitely getting ready to hunt. They just haven't spotted what they want yet. And I can't see anything that they would want either. Can't see any impala. I'm sure the steenbok is absolutely terrified and already hiding. risk. You're saying dogs can put on a show if you can keep up with them. You are right. I think I'm doing quite a good job this morning because they're remarkably still and not moving too fast. But as you all know, when they decide to hunt just like that, it's so fast. It creates panic. It's pandemonium, if you like. And they separate, they split. That's exactly why they're so successful. The prey panic. They don't know which way to go. They can just see a pack of dogs coming at them. And one individual normally gets lucky. It's a very sort of cooperative hunting strategy. They're diurnal hunters, and that's why we don't view wild dogs at night time. I remember I bumped into a pack and they surrounded my car at night time. There was nothing I could do, but you definitely don't shine artificial lights on them. And they're just going to keep moving. They're going to keep moving through this area until they see what they want. There was lots of impala here. We were going to open the show with those impala. So I wonder where they've all disappeared to. Impalas also have a good sense of smell. They have good eyes, they have good ears. So they may fine well be aware that the dogs are here. Or at least this one is not. Oh dear. That one's completely oblivious, isn't it? Feeding and facing the opposite way. Yeah, look, they're going for it. That's the hunting pose when they start to put their head down low to the ground to make their bodies smaller. That's what they're doing. They see this impala, or these impala. That's the same impala we were looking at this morning, Simon. I can feel my heart rate starting to increase a little bit. Wild dog hunts can be difficult to watch, but you have the knowledge that it's over quickly. And no tummy goes empty. If they kill something, for example, a small steenbok, and it wasn't enough for everyone, there's still lots of hungry tummies, then they'll just kill again and continue to kill until all the little bellies are full. Right, you're asking, are wild dogs faster than impalas? I believe they can be. But impalas can also run remarkably fast, and they can also stop by springing up into the air and kicking their back legs out, trying to make themselves look extremely large and, well, slightly more powerful than they are. But yes, I think wild dogs are faster. I'm not actually too sure about that one. They're both fast animals when they flee. I mean, dogs can run at about 50 to 60 kilometers per hour, and they can sustain that for several kilometers. It's not a short burst of speed. They can sustain their speed, and that's what's needed when you hunt by coursing. But as I mentioned, they're normally extremely successful, between 80 to 85% success rate, which is much higher than lions and much higher than leopards. These impala have no idea they're there. I have absolutely no idea there's a pack of wild dogs watching them. I don't quite know what the dogs are waiting for. It's not really as if they ambush their prey like leopards and lions do. Maybe they're just waiting till they get a little bit closer. There's a puppy here, Simon, right under the tree. He's having a great time chewing on all the grass. He's like, I don't need impala. This grass is great. Why did no one tell me about grass? Or maybe it's not grass. He's eating something for sure. Jerome, hi. Very good question. I haven't seen Comet since we left Tombetta House, but it would not surprise me if he was close by. Hyenas also have incredible hearing. So you've got to remember, Comet knows the dogs are around. And he may have backed off a little bit. He's maybe sniffing around somewhere else. But most likely when they're killing the impala, he will hear that. And that's a signal to come right in and wait. And as soon as the dogs leave the remains, there's Comet's breakfast. And although, I do mention this a lot, but although scavenging has a terrible reputation, what you've got to remember is that's very smart. They have the knowledge that dogs are messy and dogs leave behind carcasses and dogs hunt regularly. And they know that they can just follow dogs and they're going to get. To me, I think that shows quite a high level of cognitive ability. They know which animals to follow. They know which species to follow. They know when the dogs are around. They'll smell them. They'll be able to hear them. They've got quite an iconic call, dogs. Hoo, 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 something like that. It's a sound that I don't think you would initially expect to come from these animals if you've never seen them before. On your first time encountering wild dogs, I think most people would be quite surprised at their vocalizations. It's a lovely sound. They're definitely going to hunt these impala. I just don't know when. Wild dogs are crepuscular, which means that their sort of peak activity times are sunrise and sunset. Sir 50, comment of the day. Those impala are about to get a rude awakening. Oh yes. Yes, they are. They're about to get a big fright. They have absolutely no idea. If impala are even slightly aware that something's wrong, a predator's here, something's happening, if they even become the slightest bit aware, they'll have their heads up. They would not be feeding. Even if they're not alarm calling or even if they're not running, if they're slightly suspicious, all their heads will be up. All of these females are completely unaware. I just think these dogs mustn't be starving. Or possibly they're waiting until they can get a little bit coverage from the vegetation and then just run. But maybe they've already had breakfast and their tummies are just a little bit full. They're not immediately hungry. Wild dogs don't hoist. They don't stay at carcasses like lions do. They don't guard them. Molly, you're asking who will usually start the hunt. Now, there will be a leader. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. There will be a leader. It's not always the alpha male. Any one of the adults, not the puppies, can actually start the hunt, believe it or not, and then they will all follow. The alphas will join in, but there was sort of thought for a while that there's one leader and the alpha will stay back and come in from the side, and that's actually not the case. Any one of the adults can start the hunt, and then they'll all follow. It's completely cooperative, and they'll follow signals from each other. But when they're hunting in this scenario, they're using sight rather than scent. They do have a great sense of smell. But they're using sight in this instance. And once they get up, they're going to spread out. And they're all going to take this on together. It's almost like an Olympic cycling team, if you like. There'll be one dog at the head of the chase. And then once that dog starts to tire a little bit, it'll pull back, and then another one comes in, pulls back, and then another one comes in. It's sort of high endurance and teamwork. I don't know if an Olympic cycling team is a good example, but I think you understand what I'm trying to say. So because they all take lead at different points, anyone can be the leader. My goodness, there's even more impala, Simon. Do you see that? This is a large herd. But normally the pack of dogs will try to select one individual impala, and they'll all collectively and cooperatively go after this one. Normally, once they find the prey, they approach. And what they're trying to do is figure out if there's any weak ones, if there's any individuals that they can pick off more easily than others. They're probing the herd for weak members, if you like. But for some reason, the Sands pack here, wow, they're just sunbathing. And what they're really trying to do at the end of the day, the main goal is to separate the herd, to isolate individuals and cause panic. That's really what they're trying to do. Puppies are just entertaining themselves, and this one under the tree is still eating something. I don't know what it is. Oh, I think it could be sticks. No, it's a great big stick. You gotta love a stick. James Hendry, he's the biggest lover of sticks, but you gotta love them. Everybody's waiting. There's 2 other vehicles here. I'm all waiting to see what happens. Elsie, good question. Wild dogs generally hunt every single day. Every single day. Morning and night, generally speaking. Now, I'm sure just like us, if I don't eat food for a day, I will feel hunger and my tummy will be making all sorts of appalling noises, but I would survive. As long as I drink water in this heat, I would completely survive. And it's exactly the same for wild dogs. They would most likely survive a day or 2, but generally speaking, they hunt every single day. It's not like lions or leopards, the feast or famine lifestyle. These sort of gorge yourself and then rest and digest is completely different. Reason being, wild dogs can't leave themselves vulnerable by sitting and guarding a carcass. That would leave them exposed to lions, leopards, any sort of other predator that would come in and go after that carcass. If they also gorge themselves to the point that we see leopards do sometimes and get so full that they can barely move, how are they going to be able to run? How are they going to escape danger, keep up with the pack, or hunt again? They can't. They need to stay light. They need to have enough stamina to always be on the move, always keep up with the pack. One more time with Brandy's comment. Sorry, Jared. Yes, Brandy, they earn their living on their legs, absolutely. They really do. They're always on the move, and they're not territorial. They're nomadic. They're vagabonds. They're only sedentary at the denning period because they have to be, and that's 3 months maximum. And they bring food back every single day to the den for the pups. Every single day, they'll bring food back, and they'll keep it in their tummies. They don't keep it in their mouth. That's too dangerous. They don't carry it back. It's too heavy and also dangerous. They keep it in their tummies. And they go back to the den and they'll regurgitate. They'll regurgitate for the pups and for the babysitters, the nannies, any older, weaker individuals. They'll eat themselves and then they'll store in their tummy almost like a crop and come back to the den to make sure that everybody's fed. Okay, let's just take a look at the impala. I see all their heads are up, but I'm not sure if they've spotted something or... I wonder if they can see anything. The dogs are staying very flat. Suspicious. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 heads up. Nope. Not one of the dogs is standing up. Which will make it almost impossible for the impala to see, but something's catching their attention. I have to say, I don't know when the dogs are going to get up and move. I don't know if they're just going to lie here or if they're going to spurt into action at any moment. You see how well this dog blends in. Look, generally speaking, once the dogs eat, they run straight back to the den. I mean, the digestion process will have hardly even begun to take place. So if there's any stomach acid in there, it'll be very, very small amounts. It's not fully digested, really. They just swallow it quickly and immediately run back to the den side to regurgitate for the pups. They don't hold it for long. If they do hold it for too long, then yes, the digestive process will have started and most likely they won't regurgitate. But the stomach acid will be the same for the pups and the adults. It'll be the same across the species. Okay. Got a few individuals starting to move a little bit closer. I don't know if things are about to start happening. It's like a domino effect. Once one starts to move, they all do. Oh, here we go. Everybody's up. Still, most of the impala have got their heads down. They're not seeing them. You know what, Simon? Let's just reposition, get around the side. I can start to see a few impala heads pop up now. They're not sure. Just stay here. Yep, they're on the move. They're using that thicket. Do you see they're standing behind that thicket there? But they're getting ready to move. Oh, the impala's heads are up. They know something's going on, but they haven't figured it out yet. If they had, they would run. They would flee. So they're not entirely sure what they can see, but something is a cause for concern. They're maybe seeing ears or a flicker or movement. Yep, they've all got their heads up. And the good old Woodlands Kingfisher is playing the theme tune to this moment, as always. You can always rely on the Kingfisher. Many of you are saying you're nervous. Me too. This is taking a long time to play out. I picked up the radio and I said to Jarrett, they're about to hunt, and it's taking a long time. Predator versus prey, look at that. The fundamental basis of an ecosystem, predator versus prey, constantly in an evolutionary arms race against one another. Neither can stay static. Predator will evolve and get ahead of the prey. And as time moves on, prey will evolve and get ahead of the predator. Can never stay static in an ecosystem. Prey will always evolve mechanisms to get better, to outrun, to flee, to hide, or else the species would never survive. But then the predator's got to get better in order to eat and hunt and be successful, or they will never survive. It's a constant evolutionary arms race. Just an update, Comet's behind us. So in answer to your question, Jerome, yes, he is still here. It's quite far behind the vehicle, but he's still here. But they're just not moving. I think they've fed and they're not completely starving. And there's a book called The Red Queen, and it comes from a concept. It's a concept in biology, but it's after a chess sort of piece. And Alice through the Looking Glass, she's perpetually running without getting very far because her landscape is moving with her. She's running, but the landscape is running. And basically, it's a sort of influential idea, if you like, in evolutionary theory. The faster you run, the more the world moves with you, and the less you make progress. Alice Through the Looking Glass is full of wonderful quotes, but that's what the Red Queen is based on. And in terms of evolution, species are evolving, species are changing with the environment, they're adapting as they have to, but everything else is evolving, everything else is adapting, and the environment itself is not static. Oh, what's happening? They're creating a barrier. There's a lot of angry females. I'm not sure I would mess with all those females' dogs. That's a line of very angry ladies. Oh, we've got two hyenas behind us. We can't show you them right now, but we've got two hyenas. Don't know who the second one is yet. Oh, we've got an elephant bull as well. Oh my goodness, everyone's on quarantine and the dogs are running. Ferrari Safari, Simon, are you ready? It was hard in summer. I've got to make sure I don't get stuck in a pothole. See all the impala running down here, dogs here. They're all jumping through here right towards our camp. They're heading right in the direction of our camp. This one here, Simon. There's also 2 impala that haven't moved behind us. They're very brave. Excuse me. They're listening. They're listening for the signal to see if any one of them have been successful. The pack's completely split. I hope Marcel's prepared that there might be dogs in camp. I'm just deciding which way to go. Oh, there's one up here. Look up here, Simon. Arisa, you're saying run, Impala, run. Can you see that dog up the mountain? Look. Yes, and most of them have run. They were suspicious. They were angry. They knew a threat was approaching. I don't think there's been any success, just as it stands. And summer is the most difficult time to follow wild dogs. I mean, you get stuck following a slow-moving kalamba. Can you imagine following wild dogs? Okay, they're all coming running. Where did the rest of the pack go?
There's one there.
Okay, let's just try and follow them. It's actually much easier for dogs to hunt in winter. And it's sort of the opposite for leopards and lions. It's easier for them to ambush in summer. They're all heading towards Galagopan area, just right behind our camp. You see, they're looking for one another now. This lot were not successful and now they're trying to relocate. Okay, they're all about to pop out here. Yeah, they're all running into our camp. Jared, can you kindly radio Marcel just to make sure he knows there's a pack of wild dogs about to run into our camp? That would be fabulous. Marcel could end up with a fright. Don't worry, he wouldn't be harmed, but they're going right towards our camp as it stands. Thank you, Jared. The last I had wild dogs that killed a kudu, and it was about 10 meters from my bedroom. So, Bess. They may not, they may continue on, but if they go in here, that's our camp, everyone. You see that sign? Djuma Research Centre. That's where we live, and they're all staring into camp. They have a good sniff of the sign. They love signage. That's because a lot of other animals urinate against signage. Must smell wonderful. Oh, no, they are going down. They are going down. Oops, I'm trying to make space for another vehicle and I'm not doing a very good job. Oh, we have a lovely image here. Okay, they're all heading into camp. I'm going to need to follow. Okay, I'm probably going to need to get on the radio here, as there is a pack of wild dogs in our camp. We will do our very, very best to follow them for now.
Thanks, Lauren. What a lucky morning. Now we have a beautiful of the big cats of Southern Africa. Here we got a whole pride of Talamati pride. Looks like one of probably young male, I think, in the back. Yeah, it's one of the young male. The duckman hasn't joined yet. This is what there's a capacity of the lions was like this yesterday morning when we find them. They were all females and there were no male with them. So it's probably still separated away. And then I think this morning I heard him calling way off south. So maybe he's probably wandering around, see what the other two brothers doing up there with the Djuma Pride. But now we're on a cheetah cut line. It's actually far from where the buffalo are right now. They have to move to get there. Unless if the buffalo make their way east, they will meet between then. It's so cool having pride of lion in the area. But it happens sometimes you don't find them two drive or one drive, but maybe a third to drive, because they rotate around and move around too much. And they're one of the drive that you may take around, just bump on them, just like right now. Lying on a road, since the grass is wet. Just gonna stick around here, see what they will be up to for the next couple of minutes later.
Okay. Welcome to andBeyond Phinda. We've managed to find a female lioness and she has been quite active. Oh, there's another yawn. We found her a little bit earlier, just on the side of a hill, and she was very busy grooming herself and yawning, so we sat with her for a little while hoping she was going to get moving, and she did get moving, and then we lost her in a thicket. So we had to loop around a couple times. We searched a couple different areas, and then we did a bigger loop around to this watering hole here, and we found her on the side of the bank. So very stoked with that. My name's Devon. I'm going to be your guide here at Phinda this morning. Behind the camera we've got Odie, and I'm really excited to sit with this lioness for a little while and see if she does anything exciting. She's not looking too hungry, but she's definitely not full. We actually managed to find her because there was a herd of buffalo down here and they went careering off at quite a speed. And I thought to myself, there's another nice big yawn. Let's just go have a quick little check around where those buffalo were looking and see if we can see anything. I wasn't holding my breath because I saw an impala that side as well, and the impala, I would have imagined, would have been alarm calling at the lioness if it had seen it, but it is possible that she managed to slip by the impala unseen. There's quite a lot of scrub and thickets in this area. Oh, there she gets up. Wow. Oh, you can see her stretching nicely. Beautiful lioness, eh? She's yawning. And now slowly we'll sit here and wait for her to move past that bush. She'll come out the other side there, and if she comes down, there is a little bit of water at the bottom here, so she might come and have a drink. We're not sure exactly which lioness this is. Could be one of two different lionesses. I'm just going to reverse a little bit here. There's a lioness that's got 2 cubs that are quite young, maybe around 8 months. And there's another lioness in this area that's got 3 sub-adult cubs, 3 sub-adult males. While we reposition, we're going to cross over to Tswalu, but I, myself and Odie will stay here for the next little while and see if she gets up to anything exciting. We'll see a little bit later.
Sit and watch these birds, which are not typically seen throughout the year, like this Palearctic migrant. Oh, wattled starling joining that lesser grey shark. That is in this tree over here now, but if you want to see him again. Beautiful wattled starling. There is plenty around. Myself and Craig are busy driving further west here, and we must be going through flocks of 40, 50 birds, and it is just continuous stream of these wattled starlings. And it's the first time that I've had the luxury of seeing so many of these birds on Tswalu, and that is because of the rain. Obviously, being driven into this area from all the growth. Oh, there he flies down. Choop. Looks like he's gone for a little meal. That lesser grey shark has just flown down to the ground and looks like it's pinned something there. It flies back up, and let's see if he's got a little meal. Obviously, that little hook appendage at the end of the beak for these shrike-like species are a very important tool on how they would kill prey. But a very beautiful bird to see, like I say. I don't see them throughout the year. They would leave their breeding grounds, so it's second half, I think, of August, and they actually cross the Mediterranean, across the Sahara, and then end up all the way down south here by early November. And then they'll stay here until about March and then make the passage all the way back, which is quite incredible. Some of them crossing the Sahara non-stop. And for a bird to make such a passage is quite a task in itself. Well, now that he's gone off, I think we're going to continue further west. Oh no. Seems like we have a technical issue, folks. Stand by. Huh, okay. So, looks like we'll be walking from here, but for now we're going to send you off to Andrew and we'll see you when you get back this side. Thank you very much. We're still sitting here with our proud lion. As you can see, looks like trying to groom himself, clean himself up. This is the way of getting themselves self-cleaned. You know, I'm not sure, they probably actually walk over grasses last night where tixies have been picked up. But for them, being in a rodeo, it's all about, taking it easy, get dried off, where the sun is coming slightly up. which is still good. Actually, it's not actually even hot yet. Where if it comes to much very hot, they would need a shade to hide on underneath. But again, they don't look full stomach to me. Looks like still as yesterday morning when I last saw them. If they eat something, maybe something small, or didn't actually get them full stomach. Lions can go several days without proper food. When in a pride like this, they're gonna have to hunt because there's so many of them, and with a small antelope there is nothing there, so they can't get enough of all pride. So if they get anything like buffalo down, so Michael asking how many of the young males are in this pride. So they have 3 young males here. And just can't see them because they are just lying flat. But these all, there's only one that the males are well developed slightly compared to the other 2. And the rest are just the young females. Which is perfect, you know. If it would come to the stage where they would come separate from their group here. And those ones that you see, still see so many of the spots. Many of those young ones. They're still visible of the spots when they're young, but they all disappear when they grow old. So we're going to take another couple of minutes here, see if these cats maybe move around or choose another shade. I'm going to be sending you over to Lauren with the wild dogs.
Everybody's here around the dam. We've spotted an elephant, but we also have the dogs. They ended up just skittering around our camp. They caught a squirrel, and I think one of the puppies got a little bit annoyed with the fence. Couldn't understand why there was a fence there. It was highly entertaining. But they should be on the dam cam right now for you zoomies, and we're at Gowrie Dam. So they've just done a complete loop. They haven't found what they're looking for. They're just going to keep going until they do. And the temperatures are soaring. It's getting much hotter. Much, much hotter. I feel a bit silly having this rain roof on now, actually. Okay, Simon, let's catch up. It's now or never with dogs. Ah, there's a hyena. Just want to be really careful how I drive. I'm going to try and get around them. They're going up on the dam wall. I'm glad I had my coffee this morning and it was an extra strong one. My jet fuel coffee keeps me going. Right, they're all crossing the dam wall now. Okay, just going to pull over so if another vehicle wants to come behind me, they can. There we go. My goodness, they just don't stop. Oh, I forgot about the rain roof, Simon. I'm sorry. Let me quickly reposition. Pippa's telling me there's a hyena coming. The hyenas are still following. I wonder if they're going to have a drink. There's nothing quite like seeing an entire pack of wild dogs come to a water hole together and drink. Oh, Dad, you're asking why did the wild dogs approach the impala so differently? Do you mean non-normal? I think it's because they've already fed. I mean, by the time we get out now, the sun's already up. The sun's actually quite high in the sky by the time we go live. And I think that they probably already had a meal. They attempted it, but you're right, Odette, it wasn't a full attempt. It almost felt a little bit half-hearted. But they just caught a squirrel. One of the puppies caught a squirrel. We had great fun with that. Poor squirrel. So, Odette, in answer to your question, I'm not entirely sure. I'm just going to make room for another vehicle. Bear with me. But I think they're just not starving. They've already fed. When and what, I do not know. And therefore, their tummies are probably full and they're just feeling a little bit lazy. So once they cross this dam, it's going to be a bit of a mission to follow them. But they're definitely still interested, Odette. Look at that. They're looking left, they're looking right, they're scanning, using their sight rather than their smell right now. What do they see? And although we see them hunting bigger species of prey, they will also survive on birds and squirrels and all sorts. This is one of the most easiest wild dog sightings I've had. Just gonna let Pippa and Yuri go ahead, and then we'll follow. Okay, I'm gonna try my best to keep up with them, and for now we're gonna send you across to Phinda with their Lioness.
Welcome back, everyone. This Lioness has just spotted some zebra up ahead. She's walking along the main road here, and yeah, she's come out. There's some zebra in the distance there. They're probably about, I would say, 200 meters away now, 150 meters away. She's noticed them. I don't think they've seen her yet. They are still moving quite slowly. They've been looking across to the right. I'm not sure if there's something else that they've got their attention a little bit earlier. But if you look at her body language, she's now stopped. She isn't actually breathing too much. So she's holding her breath. And if you look from this angle, you can actually see how hungry she is. So the back of her stomach is really depressed there. It's really quite far in. And she's walking normally along the road again. Maybe not too interested in the zebra just yet at this distance. She's still quite a way away from them. And she is walking out in the open, which is interesting. I think maybe if she did want to hunt, she would have moved across to the left, hidden away in the bushes. The zebra are now looking towards her. Not all of them just yet, but at least one of the 5 or 6 zebra we can see there has noticed her. And she seems just to be carrying on moving. Oh, she's scent marking there now. Bit of a tough view, but she has been scent marking all morning. And she's kind of carrying on. Maybe what she'll do if she's not turned towards the zebra. Maybe trying to get a little bit closer, see if the zebra move off. Or maybe she just didn't think she had too much of a opportunity to get this. Just going to move a little bit forward here. Kendra, the reason she's alone is you can see she's out hunting here. So I think this lioness does have cubs. We can see quite old suckle marks. So I don't think she's suckled in a while, and I do get the feeling that it could be the lioness that I was mentioned earlier that's got the 3 sub-adult males. She's scent marking there again. And she's just going to start moving through the bush here again. And what lionesses will often do is they'll move off on their own when they are looking to hunt. So she's hungry, her cubs are maybe hungry, or the sub-adults are maybe hungry, and she's wanting to feed them. So she's got a much better opportunity to hunt if she's moving around by herself. She doesn't have to wait for anyone else to keep up with her. Her cubs aren't going to ruin the hunt for her by playing around and messing up the game. So that's why lionesses will leave. If they're with a pride, if they're with their cubs, they'll leave them behind and go off. When they do that, you know they mean pretty serious business and they're really looking for opportunities to hunt. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to carry on up here for a little bit. I think we'll try. I'm going to try keep up with her. For now, let's cross back to Tswalu and see what's happening that side. And as soon as we get another good view of this lioness, we'll come back over this way.
So looking at this beautiful scene in front of me, it makes me feel like I'm in a totally new and different place. I mean, look at the landscape and obviously the animals within it. It is just priceless. I've come across this little group of male buffalo, a little bachelor herd. They're ranging out here all together. Big lawnmowers. And they're very curious in us. There was 1 or 2 that approached us now about 15 meters, picking the heads up, trying to pick up our scent and trying to understand us. Their sense of smell is very, very good. Their hearing's not the greatest, and their eyesight is pretty good as well. But the sense of smell is definitely a very, very important sense that they use to pick up on their surroundings. You can see from the horn development that there's some younger ones, and there's one oldish individual here. And just being in a group like this, it's a form of safety, obviously. More horns, more hooves, you're in a bit of a safer environment. Sure, they are massive. Lee, do the females have the same shaped horns as the males? Similar, yes. The males, if you take a look, let's use that individual on the right-hand side there. The 2 that are touching horns. No, yeah, there we go. So you'll see the central part between the horns, that like meeting part of the horns. With males, that section is referred to as the boss, and that's very developed in the males, and it's a little more subtle with the females. And then the females don't have such a heavy curve in comparison to the males. Their horns get longer and are more heavily set in comparison to females, because these are very important weapons for male and male combat, especially sorting out a bit of a hierarchy when it comes to mating and placement within these groupings. So that central part actually protects the brain when these 2 individuals meet head to head. There's been studies and they've actually calculated that the force that 2 males meet when they're fighting is the same amount of force as if you had to drive in a car at 40 kilometers an hour and hit a solid brick wall. That's the amount of force that these 2 individuals are coming together with. So that central, heavy developed mass section on the head there is almost like a crash helmet, which obviously is very important for these males, but almost non-existent on the females. They've got a very subtle, soft bend within that section. So similar shape, but slightly different. There we go. On cue, guys. See how thick their necks are. So the set of horns isn't light. And if you take a look at most antelope, their horn set is set on their shoulders. With buffalo, the neck is horizontal. Oh. So that neck is very, very strong to support that massive head and as well as a set of horns. See the ears very busy swatting the flies away. It's obviously a very soft part of the body. And within this group you can see there's a bit of sparring going on. You can see individuals meeting each other and kind of pushing each other around. It's very important for males to go through this phase and this development period. Because here it's all practice until you eventually will use these skills that you've picked up from this social arrangement here for the big day. Hopefully we won't have to walk from here, Craig. Look at these two individuals here, rubbing their horns. These two individuals, these two bigger bulls just meeting each other. Well, we're going to enjoy these guys, but we're going to send you over to Phinda with a lioness.
Welcome back, everyone. We managed to get here just in time for her to cross in front of us. Oh, she's really maybe walking 5 meters across in front of us now. And you can see she does have quite a bit of milk down there in her teats. So she's maybe got some younger cubs. I'm just going to roll a little bit forward here. Quite moving with serious intent now, though. She's walked probably 800 or 900 meters since we've been with her this morning. She's covered a pretty serious distance, and the lionesses in this area actually den in front of in this drainage line that she's walking into now. When I was a trainee ranger, I got charged by a lioness while I was doing one of my walks, and she had cubs in this drainage line that we didn't know about then. That was a different female, but this female might have her cubs down in that area somewhere as well. There's a couple other guys here with us this morning following this lioness, so it's quite cool because it means we've got less chance of losing sight of her. No one has managed to see these cubs that this lioness has got yet, though. So it would be really, really, really amazing if we could get an opportunity to see them. If we carry on following her, it will be our best and only opportunity to, if she does decide to return to the den site. You can see she's going to scent mark there before she carries on moving down. She's been scent marking quite a lot this morning as well, which was very interesting. She vocalized a little bit earlier, communicating with the other members of her pride, maybe establish dominance and territory. And you can see the direction she's moving down into now, starting to get a lot thicker. We're entering this little valley or drainage basin, and when it gets a little bit narrower here, there's a bit of erosion that happens on our right hand side. We can see it starts dropping off, and there's some quite serious dongas down there. Which is perfect to hide little animals away. Just busy going to the bathroom here now. Quick toilet break. And you can see behind her on the far side now, quite a thick area. It's also a beautiful vista scene that we've got up here now. We've got this beautiful view out in front of us of the southern western section of the reserve. We'll carry on following this line, see where she goes, but for now we'll see you a little bit later.
My favorite animal is a leopard, purely because I just think they are just the epitome of feline grace and power, and the way they can move about in any environment and remain hidden until they want to be seen, I just find incredibly intoxicating, and they're amazingly beautiful.
Catch up with the guides daily here on WildEarth.
My name is Lauren, and I'm currently working in Djuma Private Game Reserve here in South Africa. I love answering your questions during the live safaris. It's my favorite part. It feels like you're on the vehicle with me, and I'm able to teach you exactly what you want to know. If you want to ask a question on WildEarth, then you need to register on our website. Once registered, you must go to the live safari page and ask your question below the live feed.
An ever-increasing part of the global population is losing its connection with nature. WildEarth is here to reduce people's stress and anxiety, allowing you to escape into nature even just for a few hours a day. However, WildEarth is expensive to run, and we need help from you to keep this ship going. WildEarth Explorers gives you the opportunity to be part of a program that supports the sharing of nature with the world. Have you been watching WildEarth and dreamt of being right there on safari with one of the guides? Well, now you can. WildEarth is offering you a chance to buy a ticket to dream. You or a friend can hop on board a live WildEarth show and join our guide on safari. The ticket is redeemable at any of our locations, anytime in the future. Only a limited number of tickets are available, so don't wait. Get your ticket now and start dreaming. Terms and conditions apply.
The dogs went straight into this block, I'm afraid. So we shall not follow. It's very thick. I don't think it's worth the risk right now with the vehicles. So we're going to bumble on. I do have a surprise for you up in Buffelshoek, but I'm still trying to figure out if we can go there or not right now, so you'll need to bear with me. I think the dogs are also going to cross that way as well. They're heading north. What a morning. Following a leopard through a thicket is one thing, and that's not easy. But dogs, there's lots of potholes, low-lying branches. You can actually seriously injure yourself. Crossed yet though, so I'm just going to keep scanning. So you can see how this morning they had no plan, no itinerary, no agenda. They just looked, they just wandered until they spotted exactly what it was they were after. They were not lucky, but still, they were not following their noses like hyenas. They were just wandering to see exactly what they could find. Hold on on, Simon. Okay, so I'm going to try and figure out if I can make my way into Buffelshoek or not. But for now, we're going to send you across to Andrew.
Thank you very much, Lauren. So we left the Pride of Lions because then it was a fresh of a leopard tracks that we saw before we get to those lines, and came back to that track trying to follow. Looks like that female track came into Djuma from Buffelshoek anyway, and now we check here Buffelshoek Dam, and then finding our Hippo still here. Looks like they came back. Looks like many of them than yesterday. At least quite a few of them there back last night. Yesterday was also just one female and the two youngest one. So I'm not sure what could be that leopard. Could be maybe in Sally or somebody else. I hope we get luck found around here so we know which one. Hippos love water, where they gotta have to be in the water during a daily basis for their skin. When they're out of the land, it's all about grazing, feeding on grasses, where then they have to move far from their water hole. JP, you want to know how long would be hippos stay at a single dam for? So that depends. Those male that, usually the male that they're not dominating, they would occupy a watering hole, but that also depends how many water hole and how many dominate males hippo with their females somewhere. But, sometimes you find one male will occupy that single dam for quite some times maybe, and then he's more likely to switch to another water hole. He doesn't have to come back to the same water hole if it's made of this water hole without any occupants on them. So that's sometimes roughly anything from maybe a week, and then before you switch to another one, or 3 days. It just depends how you move around. But if it's only single individual dam in the area, then you're more likely to spend most of the time in the area during that year, not to move around so much, since it's a lack of probably a water hole shortage. So this group here, I think she went off last night. During the grazing, she hooked up with the other one and then lead them back to the water hole. So is that maybe this dominant male here he has one group of pod, and where you find they separate. Coming back to the water hole, maybe he left with the other female somewhere, different water hole. But you do find them here sometimes with them. And they prefer very short grass for sure. They graze around this mound, termite mound, and they can establish their own grazing area where they started from beginning of the wet area, so the grass never actually overgrowth, because every night they visit. And you don't come every night, maybe the night after they will return into that area, and then sow the cull grasses in one level so that it's suitable for them to graze every time they're around. They can stand, submit for about anything from 4 minutes up to 6, 8 possibly minutes underwater before came out to take a breath again. And when it's quiet, also they can come out, feed around the bank of the water, but for safety they won't move far away for emergency. Lions will actually hunt hippo also. When they run, it's easy for the lion to catch one of these young ones. Shay, this specific waterhole here, I'm not sure how deep it is, Bevusuk Dam, but some other part is very shallow towards the dam wall here. That's where it's slightly deeper, so I'm not sure. It could be anything, maybe 3 meter, 2.5 meters also. But many of the dam up north, for sure, those big dam area, are quite deep. They're 4 meters down, and they hold longer for a long period of time during the winter. But also this one as well, the Bevusuk Dam can handle water for quite a long time. Hippo love sand. Wherever is sand area, rivers, they do come out, bask, lie in the sun, in the sand. And if they lie for too long in there, you will see that their skin slightly change a little bit pink because of the secretion. They have oily kind of bloody oil secretion. They sweat, just to try to moisturize their skin with this oily secretion. But it's so important that they spend a lot of time in the water, that they don't waste those, because they only sweat those when they're outside of the water at night. They tend to breathe throughout the year, pretty much. In the rainfall, summer, they tend to breathe more than in normal season, such as the winter as well. Jeron, so you're asking if hippo ever eat meat. Some I know are actually been told that, some have discovered that the hippo is actually feeding on the carcass for probably the special diet that I'm not 100% sure about what would be that for. But they're mainly grazer, they eat grass. So you find them get out of the water sometimes along the river, and in this big river it's so much of these reeds growth, and they love them, and they feed on those ones because this type of plants that special grow in the riverbed. And their gestation period is anything from 7-8 months 7.5, 8 months, roughly. Give birth to one calf. It's quite a beautiful sound in this watering hole here. All birds singing about, getting excited since the sun is coming up. Many of the animals, just like humans, where when it's too cold, you would complain so much. When it's too hot, you also complain so much. So there is maximum of temperatures that suit human, also animal at the same time, where it's not warm, but also it's not cold. It's not windy. So it's pretty much same as a human, some animal. So I'm gonna search around here for this track of a female leopard. Hope I bump on her or find more tracks of her and track it down. I'm gonna be sending you over to Lauren with the elephant.
Now things have calmed down here. Simon and I have managed to get our breaths back. The dogs have crossed into Buffelshoek, and unfortunately we can't go into Buffelshoek right now. But Marcel will get on it. I'll make sure of it. They're coming this way, Simon. I've got 2 elephants here. I think it could be 2 bulls. But the dogs ran right past them, so they're probably a little bit agitated this morning. I'm not sure agitated is the right word for an animal, but they're probably can manage here. They will not enjoy the smell of dogs filling their long nostrils, even if they didn't see them. Elephants are only said to really see 50 meters in front of them, give or take. And they're said to also be short-sighted. If you look at the size of their pupil in comparison to their massive skull, that tells you straight away that they don't rely on their eyesight. They don't need to. And therefore, they might not have spotted the dogs, but they'll definitely be able to smell them. That trunk contains extremely powerful smelling sensors. I think it's 2 bulls. I mean, the nostrils are not set out like ours. We have 2 easy nostrils, quite wide. Most of us can put our pinky finger up there. And it's obviously just 2 that connect in the middle as you go further up your nose. And elephants actually possess a series of 7 olfactory terminals. And all of them are packed with millions of olfactory receptors, or receptor cells, should I say. And this makes them even better smellers than bloodhounds. Their sense of smell is so powerful that they can detect water up to 12 miles away. Now that is just absolutely incredible. So do they need to rely on their eyesight? Not so much. They know exactly when a predator's nearby. They'll know when dogs are nearby. They know when water's nearby. All through their sense of smell. And this is one element of the animal kingdom, or one element of certain species that I just wish humans could tune into. We don't understand what it feels like to navigate using chemoreceptors or olfactory receptor cells. It's not within our realm. Okay, the other one's just here, Simon. Let me... Viola, I'm just approaching slowly because I'm just wondering if they were maybe a little bit anxious with the dogs being around, but they seem to be okay. Viola, I love the smell of an elephant bull and must. It's very strong, and I can't say that everyone enjoys it, but it's quite an organic smell. And to me, it smells like a really, really old leathery couch, mixed in with honey. It's got a sickly sweet honey smell to it, and dung with a little drop of vanilla essence. Did you enjoy that, Viola? No, but really, it's got a really leathery old smell and a sweetly element. It's like leather honey with an organic dash, a dash of dung, and then an essence of something beautiful. We'll go with vanilla. But it's overpowering. You really cannot mistake it. I mean, you can see the signs when an elephant's in must, but you really can't mistake what's actually happening. I think that's our elephants gone into the Mulwati. We definitely won't be following them, not through the Mulwati. I don't think we'll get another view of them. No, and off they disappear into the thicket just like this. So I'm just going to do a big scratch around, see if I can pick up on any leopard tracks, and end up at the hyena den and see if we can see what they are up to today. Clearly a few of them have been following the dogs, but maybe some of them are actually at the den, spending time with the cubbies. I saw in Tima yesterday, I think this was quite an interesting sighting. She was also on Little Gowrie, the last location I had of Ribbon. She was in that exact same spot yesterday. I really want to make sure that Ribbon's okay. A lot of you have been asking me, but unfortunately I don't know. I haven't seen her. I always give you the updates as I have them, but at least if we go to the den, we have a chance of seeing Ribbon. And I hope to see her full and fat and resting in her usual spot, Ribbon's throne. But if I don't check, I'll never know. And hopefully this afternoon, I'll be able to get this surprise for you, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. You have to tune in to see. Victor, yes, Comet is an immigrant male. So the Djuma clan is made up of the 5 adult females that you know of, Ribbon and Tima, Heart, Corky and June. Then all the cubs that you know of. And then there's a sort of sub-adults like Swazi and Ndebele and Sutu, sort of those sub-adults that we see. And then there's the males, the immigrant males that have left their own natal clan somewhere around and joined the Djuma clan. And Comet's one of them. He's very easy to identify. He is blind in his right eye, and you can see it. It's very visible that there's something wrong with his eye. And I see him around the den a lot. He's obviously very welcome. He enjoys spending time at the communal den. Unfortunately, I've not seen Koza or Saka in a very long time, which makes me sad, I must say. But there's Luca, there's Fika, there's all sorts of immigrant males around. Falco. Falco's the newest immigrant male, named after Steve Falconbridge. Falco, it's such a great name. But I'm wondering if there's more immigrant males we just don't know about. The dynamics of males is not entirely 100% clear for me. Okay, I'm going to slowly make my way to the den, and we're going to send you across to Tswalu with some pretty flowers.
All right, looking at the pretty things. Just came past this beautiful little blue flower. It's almost got like a bilobed petal structure to it, and you can see the inflorescence right in the middle, that little yellow part that's beaming in the middle. That is the inflorescence, basically the reproductive area for this plant. This is a little plant called Cormelina, and you can see it from, obviously it's a very distinctive little flower, and then if you take a look just to the left in the shadow there, that elongated strap-like leaf. Very beautiful little plant out here, out in the west. We can get them up to about 30 centimeters tall, and this basically the stem would spread and sprawl across the ground, but then you'll have these erect individuals coming upright, just like you're seeing in picture there. Very beautiful little species. And now is obviously the flowering time when we have abundance of rain, and it's normally in the early to mid-summer that you would find this individual flowering. and then is widespread through the drier grasslands and bushvelds of the tropical parts of southern Africa itself. Sorry, but a lovely little species to stop and appreciate out here, along with so many other ones. We're going to be looking at a few other plant species while turning into the sun now. We have now changed our position, and we are now turning into the sunlight. So we're heading east, and we are just going to be scratching around through this undulated landscape, and then into an area where we're going to be stopping at a pan, and then hopefully finding something nice there for us. But it's just over this ridge, so we're going to continue. You can see the sun directly in front of us. Obviously now we know we are driving east, so Craig got a bit nervous here, so I know I'm not lost, Craig. It's obviously using sun as orientation is very, very important, and you're starting an area, or if you're guiding in a very large area, it's something that's set all the time, and obviously its movement is very distinctive, and you can use it to orientate yourself if you ever get lost. Lovely. Oh, look at the rainbow behind us. I don't know if you're going to see that. Just hold on there, folks. There's a little bit of a rainbow we got at the back here behind us. Look at that. You can just see the faint colors of red, orange, yellow, green, and blue, purple. Lovely. A little bit of water falling from the cloud. I mean, that is a tiny bit. And obviously the angle from where the water is falling and the sun being in our eastern side, it is illuminating that water, and we are seeing that color. Spectrum of light. Lovely. It's always a welcome thing, a bit of cloud cover, like I mentioned yesterday. It's hot here so much time of the year that when you have this cloud cover, it is very welcomed. You kind of relish it, you bask in it. It's so comfortable and just great.
Agreed, Kyle. It's always welcome having a little bit of cloud cover, not too much, because then it affects the amount of light. Now, this is going to be bumpy, Simon, but we're actually heading into the Mulwati to cross over in order to get to the dam. And I thought I might just give you a view, because we're not able to drive the Mulwati yet. It's not been sort of signed off. It got so waterlogged during the extremely heavy rains that is not completely drivable. You can take the roads that cut through it, that's what I'm doing, that's okay, but you're not actually allowed to drive down it. We did a test the other day with permission on Kalamba, and although our vehicles are fine, I'm not entirely sure other vehicles would be. So we're going to give you a view of it instead. Mulwati, how I miss you. There you go, Simon, work your magic. Our dry riverbed, which is now dry, but it actually was flowing not so long ago with the extremely heavy rains when we got over 120 mils. It was very lush on either side. A lot of leadwoods you find down in the drainage line. It's a sort of the most dense area of leadwoods that you'll find in the reserve. And it winds all the way down to our southern boundary, and then it extends. We just can't go there. You have lots of birds here. Lots of animals come here for shade. Lots of den sites are in the Mulwati. It's the perfect place to stash your cubs. And I do miss driving it. We just thought we'd give you a view of how lush it is. But I'm sure in the next few days of intense sunshine, we will be able to drive it again once it slightly dries up. Will not be fun getting stuck in the Mulwati, that's for sure.
Thank you very much, Lauren. So we still also checking around with our leopard tracks, which we haven't actually seen any tracks now since we left the dam. Just have a double banded sand grouse on the road. One of the birds that they spend a lot of time moving on the ground, but they do fly Sometimes you find 2, sometimes together, 3 maybe. But this one looks like this time loves the road so much. I'm gonna see if I will get close enough. Remember the sand grouse, they tend to drink water dusk and dawn. So pretty much when the sun goes down, this is where you see them go to drink. Probably lost its partner around here. And it goes off to the grasses. And they're so well camouflaged, They're always, for that reason, they are hunted by the hawks. Most eagles, there's a chance that there is an eagle fly right up in the sky. So every time they come to an open area across the road, they're very careful about that. Sometimes they kind of like freeze, but looking in the sky. But francolin do the same as well. So, for that, they don't actually get spotted. They don't really have to come visible for any of these predators. But now, once got into the grasses, they would do normal movement. And this is how they crawl around, move around through these grasses and eat grass seeds, which is so important that nowadays, it's a lot of grasses which they already, a lot of seeds in these grasses dropped off. And then these francolins or finches most will go for these grass seeds that just drop off. It's quite a lot of plant grass species out here where all birds would would get what they need a day. So it looks like I lost the visual for now, and I'm gonna carry on, look for a leopard track. I'm just not sure what happened to the Lalamba. Last I know she was seen there yesterday morning. I actually heard there at the Filmer's Deep area, Filmer's cut line, and she had a little bit of meat there, but afternoon I went and she was not around, and I think was a hyena seen in that area with a little bit of a skin. Probably that's what the remain of the carcass she had. So, it looks like she'll probably still be around, but she moves quite a lot though. And the leopards in general, they are kind of a sneaky, because that's how they do. They move into thick grasses, they hide sometimes. So the only time they come visible, this is when they're mobile, chances to cross the roads, or they're mobile along the road. And now with the sun coming up, all the dew from grasses all burn off, so soon there will be no longer dew in these grasses, where they were more likely to forage through grasses because they don't get wet. So yeah, hopefully we find her up in trees or lying on the mound or maybe moving along the road. And it's so cool, if you spend a lot of time here with us. It looks like she had been somewhere east of Twin Dam for a couple of days that nobody know about. Only the tracks that was leading from the south to the north. But until we found her yesterday, we were not sure if she's still around in the area. Oh no, so you're asking if the sand grouse bigger than the guinea fowl? Well, bigger. The guinea fowl is still way too bigger compared to the, sand grouse is type of a small bird, size of francolins, and like probably Natal francolin size or crested francolin that I can put there. So they're a lot small bird. What you see there, you hardly legs and it moves. Where the guinea fowls are a lot bigger, size of it chicken, most of them. So I haven't seen like a fowl, and I know they're around here because you hear them sometimes communicate, especially when it's dark. This is where they make sure they're still in the same area. Even though they sleep in different trees, all birds are so important that they communicate. Next morning when they're about to get mobile again, they will do that communication to make sure everybody's still around, and they will probably gonna hook it up during the movement again. And they advertise their territory. Jeron, so you're asking what is the biggest bird we get in Djuma? I know it's very actually rare, but we have a Kori bustard, which is more likely find them in an open area. So Kori bustard and southern ground hornbill, those are the bigger bird you find here. And southern ground hornbill, they live in group of many males. And the female as well. It's an interesting bird which every time they're around, it's where you would have them or heard their calls communicating, where they're kind of like very strange calls. You would think of the lions in the area where you heard them. So yeah, I'm gonna wake around here. I haven't given up yet. I'm going to be sending you over Phinda with the lions.
Welcome back to andBeyond Phinda, guys. We are following this lioness. She's gone another good kilometer or two since we last saw you. We've moved all the way down through that valley that I was telling you about. We've gone past a watering hole. She had a little drink at a little puddle of water, but we didn't get a nice look. There's quite a lot of long grass around, so we didn't get to see her drinking. We just saw her tail sticking out. And she's now started moving up this quite mountainous region. You can see there's quite a big mountain in front of us. We're still quite low down, which is nice. As it gets a little bit higher up the mountain, a lot of the topsoil is washed away and it gets quite rocky and very difficult to follow. Quite difficult to follow her. No, we're not going to get a view through there. She's gone around the back of the bush. She's really on a mission this morning, though. This lioness has been walking for, like I said, she's probably done a good 4K since we started following her this morning. Hasn't looked too interested in hunting. She chased a jackal about 20 minutes ago, which was quite exciting. The jackal was far too quick for her, though. It got away quite quickly. A little side-striped jackal. She's had a look at those zebra that we were with earlier, and since then there hasn't really been too much. Some baboons were alarm calling when she walked under some trees, but they were nice and high up in the trees, so no opportunity for her to hunt them. And I think she will definitely take an opportunity if she can get one. Claire, that is a very good question, and I'm not sure that there is an answer to it. Here we go. We're just going to get a bit of a view now. She's smelling around. Depends how hungry she is, Claire. If she's really hungry, I mean, lions can walk many kilometers in a day. One of the other lionesses in this pride walked about 3Ks, caught something, and walked all the way back to fetch her slightly older cubs, and then took them back. So that's without the hunt, just 3Ks away from her cubs. We don't know if she was coming back. She might have been even further away. But I would say lions are very opportunistic, so they'll take the closest opportunity that they can get. If it's the closer to the cubs, the better. It means they've got to walk less far. But if they are hungry, lions have got to eat, so they'll keep moving until they do come across something and get an opportunity to hunt. I'm not sure she's going to come out there. I'm just rolling a little bit back. We'll get one last little view as she walks between those two bushes. You can just see her black ears, and it's a really beautiful lioness though. Cool. Now I'm going to carry on following up here. It's been really special to kind of follow this lioness all morning. We were just, myself and Odie, were just chatting and saying how special it is to get to follow lions when they're moving. We spend so much time with them when they're lying around. And people tend to think that lions sometimes are a little bit lazy, which is really not true. We've watched this lioness walk so far this morning. She had a drink, she had something to eat, had a look at maybe getting an opportunity to hunt something. She is smelling around quite a lot here now. We'll stick with her. We committed to following her around this morning now, so we're going to keep doing that. We're going to go across now to the hyena den with Lauren and see what she's got for you that side.
I also have something very special, everyone. Would you look at that? Mother and potential daughter. Our little monkey here is getting bigger, getting braver, getting longer. This is June's little one that we're assuming, and I use the word assume because we don't actually know at this stage. It just looks like she could be a girl. It's complicated, but we're going to guess a girl. It's getting really, really hot. I'm starting to get uncomfortable, but of course June's positioned herself here in the shade, and the little one is out. Oh, what a morning this has been. We've seen the little one come out quite a lot now, but I have to say this is the first time I've seen the milk bar being open and visible to all. She's not sort of hiding in that entrance, if you like. Swazi probably put everyone off that yesterday. He was full of beans. I don't know what he was up to yesterday. I think he was trying to pretend to be a mum for a while. Play mums and dads. What a precious moment, really. Looks absolutely nothing like the adult. Body shape's different. When they're young, they don't sort of have that hair on the back of their neck. They don't have that long, muscular neck yet. They don't have that sloping gait at the back. Their hind legs are always slightly weaker, but they really don't look like hyenas. They've not got the spot pattern's not visible yet. It's just too precious. If, and I say if, this cub is a girl, then it's great news for the Djuma clan. Although we believe there's a potential June could be at the very bottom. I can't conclusively say that yet. I know some of you think it's definitely the case, but I really do think we just need an interaction between June and Corky to finalise it. It's definitely what my gut is telling me, but I think we really need to see before we can conclusively say. And even although June is at the bottom, or at least in the bottom two, a girl is exactly what the Djuma clan needs, even a low ranker. Every girl adds to the pool of girls, if that makes sense. No matter where you're ranked, you're still reinforcing the females. You're still reinforcing the clan. Any female in a hyena clan is the backbone. You're the backbone of the entire social structure. And we know that Heart has a girl. And we know that Corky has a girl. And that's great news. Heart also has a son and Ribbon has 2 boys, but still, that's 3 potential girls right there to add to the pool of strong, dominant females in the Djuma clan. And it's quite late, to be honest. No, the Djuma clan den is not always active at this time. It's almost 8 o'clock. The sun's bursting through, blue skies ahead. Very often by this time, the den will no longer be active. June's definitely not active, that's for sure. Did you just hear me say that? Okay, I'm sorry. You are active. Ross, yes, they do. The cubs do have milk teeth. Hyenas actually have 34 teeth. And the little ones do have milk teeth. And believe it or not, when a cub is first born, it's far more precocial than the other predators' offspring, be it dogs, be it lion, leopard, cheetah, but it's still altricial. It still needs to stay in a den, not very mobile, and the eyes are open, but not fully open, but they do have their canines and their smaller teeth erupted already. And that's what makes them a lot more precocial than the others. Eyes are open. Canines erupted. Mobile, if not a lot, they can still at least move. The gestation period is a little bit longer than lions and leopards. It's 4 months, so it's longer by 2 weeks, not by much. And they're said to only weigh about 1 pound when they're a first newborn. So they're tiny. But of course, as soon as they start drinking mum's milk, they'll put on weight very, very quickly. Sorry about that. I don't know why I keep sneezing this morning, but I do. Now, as an adult, a hyena's skull can weigh over 3 kg, just the skull alone. That's not including everything that comes with it. They're a very heavy set animal, which makes them really, really powerful. So that cub's got a long way to go, a lot of developing before it will really look anything like the adult. And the reason a skull is so big, it has a very unique shape. If you look at a hyena's head, it's quite unique. And it's like this to accommodate special muscles, powerful jaw muscles. They've got a lot of muscles and extremely powerful ones that equip those jaws, that allows them to have one of the most powerful bites, at least of all the mammals. Crack through bones. Can you imagine crunching on a bone? Ooh. The thought gives me the heebie-jeebies. But they are part of the order Carnivora, which means they do have a carnassial shear, like the other predators out here. All species in the order Carnivora has this. The flesh devourers. Now a carnassial shear is... Oh. Hello. is the way you'll see it. You can see it on your domestic dogs. It's a sort of molar on the top jaw and a molar on the lower jaw that slices together. They fit together in such a diagonal way, and it allows for slicing and tearing. And if you have that, then you'll be part of the order Carnivora. So I'm going to sit here and enjoy this wonderful sighting.
It just pretended to be dead. Oh, that was amazing. I can't. How do I? It's like that is hands down the coolest.
Expect the unexpected here on WildEarth daily.
Hi, my name is Taylor McCurdy, and I'm coming to you from eco training here on Pridelands. My most favorite animal in Africa has to be the elephant that's behind me, and this is Kumo, you'll meet him. But elephants just in general, they're really sociable, they're always doing something, and I love to see the interactions between the members of the herd.
Catch up with the guides daily here on WildEarth. For the month of January 2021, we are offering a chance to win a unique WildEarth expedition to the magnificent Tswalu Kalahari. From the ancient Kortai's Koranenberg Mountains to the southern Kalahari's red sand dunes, Tswalu offers what travelers crave most: space and time. The winner will explore this landscape in a vehicle, on foot, or on horseback, with a chance to go behind the scenes with WildEarth and of course meet the meerkats. The prize includes a 3-night stay for you and a friend at the luxury Motse Lodge, including flights from either Johannesburg or Cape Town. Open to all WildEarth explorers who have signed up before the end of January 2021. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back, guys. We are still on the side of this mountain following this lioness who's just started moving. She keeps moving quicker and quicker and quicker, so it's a nice view through the little gap there. Hopefully that's going to last for a couple seconds. She's been constantly moving very steadily in the kind of same direction. We're now going parallel to the mountain here, and we really are hopeful that she's going to take us to the cubs. It would be beautiful to see that, and because she's moving around so much as well, excellent opportunity to potentially see her hunt. So lions are what we call opportunistic hunters, so if she bumps into anything, she'll most definitely have a go at it, if she thinks that her opportunities are good. And she does look quite hungry as well, so I imagine all this walking around this morning is making her more and more desperate as she goes to get an opportunity to carry on hunting something. Did she go off that side? Oh, cool. There she is, up on the road. Now, maybe a nice opportunity now she's out in a little bit more open space to get a nice look at her. Just going to get a little bit closer and then we'll stop. And Odie can pull you in nice and close there. So this is the view that we've had for the last better part of an hour now. It has been really exciting following her, watching her chase things, and she's really just on the move at the moment. So we feel very privileged just to be sitting with her. We're really enjoying it this morning. I hope you guys are enjoying it too. And excellent opportunity to see things happening. When lions are moving, things are always happening. It's things that animals are alarm calling as she goes by. Like that jackal interaction we had earlier. She chased a jackal, which was quite spectacular. Had a whole bunch of baboons barking and shouting at her, making a hell of a racket. And now she's heading up into the mountains. In the beginning, we were a little bit unsure about exactly which lioness it was. There are 3 lionesses here that it could be, that it could have been. I'm just going to keep moving here so the seat's not in the way. And once we got a good look at her teats, we were able to establish that it's actually one of the lionesses that's probably got cubs that are quite small. So I haven't seen these cubs before. This is extremely tricky driving and filming that we're doing. Trying my best to get a nice view for you, everyone. There we go. I'll pull over there and stop for a bit. But every time I stop, she seems to walk behind the next bush. I think we might be in a little bit of trouble up ahead here. You can see she's walking towards, there's quite a dense thicket that's up in front of us here. If she drops down into that thicket, it might be quite hard to carry on following her. I can hear some monkeys' alarm calling up ahead now. There is another watering hole just up ahead, so we're going to carry on following her here. Maybe she'll go drink again, never know. It's starting to heat up here at Phinda, and she's walked, like I've said a couple times. Oh, there she's going. No, she's gone through that gap. She's really down in the... Can you see her there, Odie? She's gone down into this really, really thick spot. Oh dear. Give her a second here, see if she comes out. She might have crossed over to the far side of the drainage line, which would mean we are going to have to loop around quite significantly. We've got quite a bit of road to go back along and backtrack to till we can get across here. It's unfortunately a really thick and quite steep drainage here. We've got some pretty flowers in Tswalu though, which I think might be a little bit more interesting than watching me drive along the road here. So us at Phinda are going to carry on trying to get a view of her here, but as soon as we get back, or get her back, we'll let the guys in the studio know, and I'm sure they'll send you back across to us. But for now, enjoy the flowers.
All right, stopping and looking at the flowers, but stopping and looking at this flower, what a treat. Look how amazing the structure is of this flowers, folks. This is a flower falling within the genus Cleome, and this is Cleome angustifolia, or yellow mouse whiskers, and a very beautiful flower. The intricate detail on how this flower is structured is truly remarkable. So these are flowers that open, so I'm just going to use my little stick as a point here. So these are the petals of the flower, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's mainly 4 within each flower, and then you have the male and female reproductive parts, which will be actually turned up. If you take a look at the structure, you can see how this turns up towards the end, almost like a hook. So the male reproductive parts are these little sections over here. This is the stamen, that's where the pollen is produced, and the female part is this purple hook-like appendage over here, which is also sharply turned up, and that is referred to as the pistil. But a very beautiful flower, and if we can look at the leaves as well, also a very distinctive leaf structure. You've got these elongated lancelet-like leaves. You get a few on each part of the plant itself. You can see the stem over here. On this plant, there's mainly 3 to 5, so it's almost like a hand or like a palm-like leaf structure. But amazing to stop and look at something so beautiful and something so intricate. such as these yellow mouse whiskers. Obviously the flowering time would be now found within sandy soils and pretty widespread through the Northern Cape, Free State and also Limpopo. You'd find them in Namibia, and obviously following good rains is when these flowers would come out. You can see that this one is, in the next day or so, this is one that will emerge as a flower as well. So you can see how it flowers from bottom to top. So if we just jump to this one over here, sorry I'm jumping, Craig, just you can come up over here. You can see how these flowers have done their jobs. And then this one just, these are actually opening, sorry. These are opening and open, and then these ones are still yet to open over here. Really amazing, and what a beautiful flower. So we thought we had to stop and just appreciate the complexity of this lovely, lovely flower. It is waving in the wind beautifully. We looked at Cleum, which is African cabbage, the whiter version. Peter, the flora diversity is incredible here. So a couple of weeks ago I was asked a great question of how many plant species would be found on Tswalu. In general scopes, about 150 different plants are found within our species list that we obviously have for guests, and that is just the normal plants. That is excluding all the wildflowers. That is excluding the wildflowers within that count. 150 different species. So you could come out here and you could be entertained for days with the diversity of plants out here. And if you look at these plants out here have very specific relationships with certain organisms. So it could be ants, beetles, other little creepy crawlies that obviously do the job of taking pollen from one part to another. Even wind could be a factor over here. The stamen being so close to the pistil itself, or the male being so close to the female reproductive part of the plant. But really, really beautiful. That's actually the start of a seed pod. There's the start of a seed pod over here, just on my stick. That's the seed pod there itself. But really, really beautiful. And now after this life-giving rains, this is when these beautiful plants come out in full force. Hillside, how long do these flowers last? A flower of this structure, I would say, would last about a week. One flower itself would last roughly a week. But then having multiple flowers within one plant really increases the chance of maximum reproduction or dispersal to happen. And, the more offspring you have, the better chances your genetic value or your genetic code is within the system. Because you might have a special adaptation that gives you a slight advantage, and then your offspring would obviously have that advantage, which would be great. Because then that would obviously ensure that the species survives. But this flower doing a great job of having, very, very high chance at mass seeding, and then within that mass seeding, one or two plants actually making it to adulthood. That's why a lot of plants out here have mass flowering. So obviously maximum amount of seeds, and from there you will have individuals that will survive and continue your legacy, so to say. But incredible. Red-faced mousebird. But we're going to leave this beautiful, beautiful plant. We are not too far from that pan, and once we are in that pan, we are going to be looking for anything around there. Hopefully there's one or two birds, and hopefully some hooved ungulates for us. We're actually looking for one or two big herds of eland out here in the west, and hopefully we can get lucky. And hopefully we can get some more beautiful plants, such as this gorgeous species. But we will send you over to Andrew for now, and we will see you shortly. Good luck, Kyle. we're still searching here. And we came down now. I have to leave that track of that first leopard track we saw. We came down where was a Kalamba yesterday morning. And there are tracks leading to the north towards the quarantine area. It looks like just after the drizzling we had this morning. And it's a very interesting track there to follow. And there was also a lot of hyena. Probably she had a lot of hyena around her. Because remember that kill she had was near hyena dam. So it's probably that's why she didn't stick around there too much. So I'm gonna check towards one of the roads, the Zoes Road, and then I'm going to go to quarantine there if she pop out that side. So that's an update from us. So we're still on the leopard tracks this morning, hoping to find one of them. I know Lorraine found another track which is on the eastern side of a treehouse dam there, and she's going to work around in the area. We're not sure if it's a different female. What was happening here all night. Maybe we're gonna find out soon. And in quarantine, this is where the dog was this morning, so, and they're more likely not to get along if she was in that area or before she got into that area. This is when the dog have gone. That then she would feel comfortable sticking around. They won't cooperate, dogs and the cats for sure. It's all carnivore species. It's all about the energy, it's all about competitions that take place. And they all hunt the same species of antelope. Here, so you want to know what method we use to track. So the key is first you find the tracks. So find the tracks, it's very important. Then from there you're able to tell that tracks is how old it is. We had a little bit of a drizzling this morning, so it's quite easy for us to see. If the tracks is over the drizzle, then it's still kind of like fresh. So it disturbs the wet as the animal moves, and you know exactly that tracks is quite fresh, and then direction of where the tracks is heading. So that's a very important key to track animal and find them. But also depends. Some animals, like wild dogs, they always move around so much, and where they stick on the road and they all see the roads, all tracks, then you know for sure that dog's on move. About the same with the cats. If they're on the road too much, the tracks lead you on the road. Maybe there was probably about some business, scent marking, over and over, that cat was on move. But there's a now where the tracks off-road more regularly into the bush, and then you know that it's got to be maybe leopard that's maybe around because of the hunting situations. So I'm going to be sending you over to Prrivate when I'm still checking around here.
Out of the bushes, and there's more elephants in the background there. Goodness gracious me, apparently we don't have any audio. Let's check what's going on here. Could be much better now. How's that, everyone? Can you hear me? I'm sure you can. So as I said, that is an elephant that was coming out of the bushes, and there's plenty more where those came from. There are lots of elephants on Prrivate at the moment. They seem to be coming back after a bit of wet weather. Hopefully they're here to stick around. Hi everyone, my name is Mike Anderson. Behind the camera is Gert, and you joined us at Eco Training Prrivate Conservancy. As you know, we are joining you a little bit later than normal. We've been following up on some lion tracks. We found the lion tracks, but unfortunately the lion seems to have maybe moved out of Prrivate into the northern Reserves. That's okay, I'm sure he'll be back, hopefully. And also there was some monkey alarm calling that we followed up on, but again there, whatever predator it was, gave us the slip. The elephants always providing us with plenty of good opportunities to watch them. This is the third herd we found today. We found a very big herd. Susan's herd, in fact, was walking down the road on our eastern boundary. Susan, though, Susan seems to be absent at the moment. Don't know where she's off. This looks like a young bull, just feeding at the head of another group. It could be a bachelor group, maybe making their way slowly down to Leopard's Dam. Actually, not so far from Leopard Dam right now. We're sitting on the top of Rocky Ridge, which overlooks the dam itself. Just feeding on some of the green bushes on the top here. It's actually strange. Those trees that it's eating from look like potentially young leadwoods, which are not the tastiest and most palatable of the trees, but also not too bad, especially now when they're growing and it's green. The little friend that's joining me just walked onto my armrest. I want to see if I can pick it up to show you. So we're going to send you over to Lauren in Djuma whilst I figure out what kind of millipede this is.
We did monitor lizard for you, but sad as scooted grass. Now we left the den. Why? Moments after we were live, the little one went back inside and June got up to leave. It's just very hot. So June will be going to seek shade, I would imagine, and snooze all day. Now let's see what's happening in our favourite little pan. The weavers are busy, I see. Or I hear, sorry. Wow, it's almost deafening, that sound. It's so loud. Talking of loud, so is the radio. I'm just going to let you enjoy the weavers for a moment or two. Bridget, absolutely, some of them are new. Now, you can normally tell by the coloration, but they work on them they can build a new nest within 12 hours on average, give or take. And they can just create a new one every single day if they've got enough energy. And they'll just keep going and going until it's successful. Normally, it's about 3 days that if a female doesn't come or she shows no interest, the male can actually get very upset with himself and he can tear down his own nest. So you can sometimes find them just lying on the ground because they've been torn down. That's if she doesn't do that. The female can also tear it down if she's really unimpressed with it, which makes me feel rather sad because, well, they put a lot of effort into these nests. It's such delicate, intricate work using a tiny little beak. And they don't stop. They've got a goal and they will accomplish it. But sometimes the females can be very unimpressed and sometimes the males themselves are just not impressed. They think, no, I'm not impressed with this one. I'm going to get rid of it and we're going to start again. Practice makes perfect. But yes, Bridget, a lot of these nests are new. And I was checking this pan for months and it's only really in that week of Christmas that these weavers returned. And now everything is in full swing. I just love sitting here. I love the amazement of what these birds can create. Kim, you're saying very impressive homes. I know, right? And it's not a permanent home. It's literally just during the breeding season, and it's really very temporary, but extremely impressive. And the males do all of this, so you definitely can't say they have no parental care, because although they're not invested in raising the offspring, this is a start. What they're actually doing is providing a really safe, structured, tiny little area that the females can go in and incubate the eggs. It's designed to minimize parasites, and it creates a little microclimate inside so that the temperature stays stable and it's not too affected by weathering. Because of course there's always variation in environmental conditions, and that's why it's shaped in such a way with the entrance or the exit hole on the underneath side. That's why it's dome shaped. It's not random in any way, shape or form. So yes, temporary little homes with everything considered. We have a flight going overhead. And if you tried to pull apart one of these nests with your fingers, I discarded one, of course. It's very difficult to do so. It's woven so tightly. So it looks like Andrew has been lucky and he's found his spots.
So Yuri, if you come down from Via to the axis. All right, everyone. We got it now, looks like. When we were talking about trekking leopard, which is very much interesting out here. Now, we found a male. When I look at the tracks back there, I said to David, this is actually male track, but it doesn't look fresh. And the minute, the next corner, he was there. So probably maybe spend a lot of time in this area. We're just going to take time, maybe the female around here, and then I'm not sure. But that track is actually way too far for that female to reach far. I would think maybe she must be still in quarantine in that block between Hyena Den and quarantine. So we got it. Dingan, which is, it's so great that he's actually back in Djuma. And to me, he's still looking healthy, beautiful condition as well. Now he's thinking of probably lying down or licking himself, cleaning off. But yesterday when we got a message about that he was in the waste, and when we found the tracks last night, tracking, was a pair of them, male and a female, but we couldn't find them, so I can't tell whether it was him or whether it was a hukumuri there. So we're just slightly far from quarantine itself, but in Djuma. So if he's going to make his way down along this road, we're on Zoe's road right now, and he's going to pop out at quarantine itself. You know, it's so cool that he was just right on the road, just like a statue. And he's going to probably move soon to follow a shade around. Indeed, everyone, it's such a great idea that he actually decided to come back to us. Where I believe this is where we're going to keep up with him, make sure that we know where he is, at least. It's always so important. The last spot where you have that cat, always go back to check and then keep up with the track if it's possible. If you find a track, then you know you're going to stick with the track. If you lost the track, you're more than actually likely that you know exactly where the direction of the track heading into. So you would estimate your kind of search around where you can go from there. Since he's in Djuma now, whether he's going to go back west or he's going to cross into Bevilsoek, because this is part of his territory down there, up in the north. And he doesn't look full belly at all. So look where he is right now. The shadow has moved during it's rising up so much. So he's gonna probably keep up with the shade, or he's gonna move different places. It's quite a lot of thicket around here, so it's easy for him to go in one of those. But we're so lucky now where he's right on the road, where we hope he's gonna stick in right in the open spaces where we can able to keep a beautiful visual of him. Leslie, so you're asking if Tingana is the biggest leopard in Djuma at the moment. You know, he's roughly anything from 15, 16 there, approaching this kind of age. So I would assume so, that's him. Look at his coat, and I saw the jaw, it's called jaw lip under the throat that's already hanging, and you already know that he's an older male around here. And now there's a Kumura up in the west. We also come this way, but I'm not sure how old he is right now. But Tingana, wow, is an old. And it's so beautiful since you get around here. And he's been sticking around here quite a lot, where so many males, they move, change places quite a lot. And when they abandon a female, they go somewhere else. But something to do with the power. If that cat feels a lot of strength, and then easily for him to challenge a lot of the males around, fight with, then if it's not many males, he's going to be on move. A tail up, because of the rattling cystic collar that's giving calls. You've probably seen him. It's all about communication to birds that not actually hunting you guys. So I'm going to try and follow him, see. I know everybody is actually desperately looking for a leopard. And I'm not sure how many vehicles will be coming this way. But for now, it's still us and the other vehicle coming to join as a number 2 vehicle. Just so beautiful to see cat move on the road. You have fully body size looking image of him. So I'm gonna stick with him.
Welcome back to andBeyond Phinda, everyone. We have unfortunately not been able to find the Lioness again. We've come up onto the hillside here to try stop and scan. And we've got quite a view here, but there's lots and lots of thick bush just below us. So we've just stopped, we're taking in the view. There's lots of little birds calling all around us. A couple of insects and crickets cricketing. And yeah, quite upsetting that we couldn't manage to keep up with her. But it is what it is. The area got really, really thick, and we had to loop around to try to catch her on the other side where she came out. And we waited for a bit, we moved around a little bit there, we tried to stick our nose into the drainage line, but unfortunately there were no signs. We thought maybe if we stopped and had a little bit of a listen, we could hear if she was gone into that drainage line to her cubs. We thought we might get some audio of them calling her or her calling them, but it was obviously not to be. So we stopped here. There were also lots of other animals. There was some Ngala in the drainage line. They didn't seem to be worried about anything. So yeah, she's managed to evade us. We are going to carry on looping around this block here. We'll keep an eye out for tracks on the road, if maybe she's come along one of the roads. But yeah, no promises, unfortunately.
What you're looking at here is something called a blue pansy. It's a butterfly that's very common in the savanna areas of sub-Saharan Africa. Now, a blue pansies describe many different butterflies. It's just a common name. It's one of the Junonias, I believe. And what they're doing right now is they're sitting on this elephant dung, which looks quite dry, but there's probably some moisture or liquid left in there that's full of all sorts of minerals and nutrients that these butterflies desperately need. And so you can see them with their little proboscis poking out and in between all these coarse grasses and sticks and leaves in this elephant dung, soaking up any of the nutrients. They're also very fond of flowers, often seen sitting on flowers getting nectar from those, and in doing so, sometimes they also pollinate the flowers, which is very useful. And now I'm not sure, but I believe these could be males. And what they often do is they sit on the ground, like what they're doing now, staying very still, sometimes with that blue patch visible, sometimes not, if they're trying to be more camouflaged. And they wait for females to fly over them, in which they will chase them. They're very, very active flyers, very fast and agile, and they'll chase the females until they can catch them, and then find a nice little clearing in the grass, just like what we see here, and then mate with them. They're very common butterflies, though, very pretty. It's also probably a very important food source for many birds and small mammals, because they're very abundant this time of year. With all the flowering plants and all the moisture everywhere, butterflies are really abundant. Not just these blue pansies, but yellow pansies as well as monarchs, all sorts of jokers, red and orange-tipped butterflies. And dung piles like this are great places to sit and watch and wait. We're actually driving along quite fast. Well, not fast, but just quite swiftly. And we saw them and they all flew off. And I knew that if we stopped and waited, they might start to come back. And they did. Not as many as there were before. There was about 10 before on this dung pile. But they'll come back. And there's plenty of fresh elephant dung around from all the elephants we have been seeing. And certain butterfly species will probably be attracted to different types of dung. So here we see only the blue pansies. But we might see a few more. What have you got there? Oh, it's a dung beetle. Are you looking at this blue pansy right over here? Oh, beautiful. There it flies off, sitting on some bark. As you can see, the grass is quite thick and luscious. There's lots of flowers everywhere. Everything is blooming. So it's a great time of year for insects. So anyone who is a big fan of them, this is the time of year you want to come to southern Africa. All the humidity and moisture and rain, there will be an absolute abundance. In fact, last night, when the wind stopped, there was quite a few insects starting to be attracted to our solar lights. It's a really good idea if you do like to do a bit of insecting, to put up a white sheet and shine a torch or some sort of a spotlight on that white sheet, and you'll see how many insects are attracted. Sometimes you can find dozens of different species. But at night you won't find butterflies, you'll mostly find moths. But they're just as colorful and beautiful. In the meantime, let's send you over to Andrew with an equally beautiful mammal.
Thanks, Mike. Indeed, it's true. So now, it looks like we're trying to reposition here, but we got a call from the other vehicle. We were close to him. Looks like you could see Impala, but I'm not sure how far Impala is from there, but he's going to also make his way straight to us. So we're far from him. If this hunting situation is going to take place there, then we're not interfering at all. It's tall grasses, so he had actually still had a chance of doing his best of moving about a hunt. But can be some of a energy lost at the same time, where then they sometimes get spotted. But also at night they do get spotted sometimes, if it's a chance. Sniffing around there. Not sure, maybe he just come across where there was another maybe scent mark, another leopard, because he just got down for an hour. It's been a while he's doing that there. So Julie asking where do the Ngala come from. So he originally come from, I think it's in the west, if I'm not mistaken. That's where he came from, southwest, that area. And then make his way. He spent a lot of time on the western sector. And before he crossed back here, where originally here was a Mvula that was doing it. So I'm going to make a room for him in case he comes towards us.
Yep.
So cool. There's quite a female that came in and they started to dominate around here. Talking about an older male that Mvula also make his way to the north from far Lioness Sands area, that side. So he make his way along Kruger National Park, find his place of dominate around here, Djuma, Torchwood, Beverly Souk area, until his life end. So beautiful, just stunning. I'm gonna try and turn around here. just going off the road over here, through tall grasses. This is where we came from there. Anna Marie, you're right. You know, he looks actually healthy, so he's still good. And moving properly, he's not limping, you know. So I'm so happy to see him again. So he's moving, we're just gonna keep distance, see if we got a visual of him. So like I said, he's going to end up in somewhere in quarantine, the direction that he's moving in now. If he doesn't change or stick around in this shelter for a day, he will probably end up there. It's cool because the wild dogs has moved out, so they're not there anymore.
Yep.
So we got him there in front of us, still coming towards the vehicle. He's sniffing around in the ground so much. He's probably on the trail of some of this impala or another female that has been around here. Moving towards one of the vehicles, but he's going to avoid it. Butterfly, you're right indeed, you know. So he would probably hunting anything he could right now. But a squirrel and his dwarf mongoose, they will be good for starter. Looks hungry though, anyway. So you're very right, Butterfly. Let me just turn around here. Follow him. Sure, here a few days ago, this is where Shidula came across. So when he's sniffing around here, it's probably maybe still get a bit of a scent. So I'm going to stick with our Tingana. Then I'm going to be sending you over to Lauren with her Leopard.
Well, what a drive this has been. Andrew has Tingana and I have his old flame, his old love, Miss Tandy. She's on Chitwa, right below the dam wall, and she's nestled herself into a thicket. So it's not the easiest viewing in the world, but still, it's Tandy. From wild dogs to hyenas to elephants to leopards, what more could one want? Now, I believe Andrew and Simon had Tansy here yesterday, so she hasn't moved far. I've not heard the cub being called in. Just her.
Yes, brother. Are there only 2 vehicles on lock at the moment, or that English?
There's only one. They're wildlife guys. I think sometimes her radio is not...
Sorry, everyone. I just need to keep my ear on the radio. I'm the only person in the sighting. Hello. It's hot, isn't it? I know. I feel you. Your belly doesn't look very full.
And then you can bulga, and then we all of our shop now.
Okay, is she gone right behind the vehicle? Let's see if we can follow her and I'll update everyone. Mufazi Ingwe is now mobile in a northerly direction. I'll follow. Oh, maybe we'll not be able to follow if she goes into that drainage, but let's just keep an eye on her. Lara girl, don't go into the drainage. She's been on Chitwa for quite a number of days now. 3 days since we had her during the storm. Okay, I think the only way for us to be able to keep an eye on her is to actually get up on this drainage before it's too late. Sign language in the bush is a wonderful thing. Okay, I've just directed to other vehicles so they'll be able to go around and get her, which means at least someone's got eyes on her. We're doing a little bit of scent marking. Tandy's territory, it seems to be shifting a little bit. I can't explain it. She's pushing a lot further down south than I've ever been aware of. Her and Sabi are being found at very sort of similar areas in close proximity to one another on a number of occasions these days. Okay, let's go round or we really will lose her. One leopard.
Well done, Lauren. Thank you very much. So we got our Dingana again here. And in front of him, there's a visual of an impala, but they already spot him. That's why he's now changing his direction and moving the opposite way. And there's impalas, as you can see, right on the termite mound. Oh, looks like they're going to run to him. Or maybe trying to run away. So I'm just going to move. This is the behavior of impala when they have a sight of the danger and they got to make sure where it's going. What they're doing now, getting closer look, but just because they have a visual of it. But if they can hear the audio or if they could smell the leopard, then that's more worry them too much because now they don't know where it is, how far it is. So it's trying to disappear from the side of impalas. And when it's shouting at him, he's probably getting annoyed a little bit because then he doesn't want to be spotted or become visible for many of the other species. So he avoided quarantine, now he's crossing to the north, Vietela axis. So we'll try to stick with him in this wood just to see how far he's taking us through this. Sure if he's going to head down into one of these drainage line on Galago shortcut somewhere there. There where you'll find himself later on maybe Galagopen, this area, or he's going to make his way across here to the north. So Nola, you want to know how big a leopard territory can get, and that's depend on the amount of males around. If it's so many males, and of course they got to make sure every one of these males dominate in the area, and how big is the reserve. So it can be anything from 40 square kilometers if there are so many of them. If it's not many of them, it can be 80 square kilometers sometimes. They can hold the territory that way. Yeah, but 60 or 50 regularly. And they gotta respect each other so much, even though he's so big, but you know, respect the other leopard around the other male's member. It's so important. That actually accumulate the fighting, injury. So one male, he would dominate. It's possible that he would dominate maybe 4 females within his territory, that they're in within his territory. But they have to also avoid one another, respect one another. Whenever time they come across one another, they would set up their territory within his territory. So each one of the female would have a couple of acres. Well, I don't have his sight now. Tall grasses. He could be lying. I don't want to just drive over him. Oh, there he is. There he is, David. So yeah, we got him there. So we still got a sight here going on. And there's like 2 vehicles now. I'm gonna keep him with us.
in our efforts to relocate this lioness, we came down to another watering hole and found some white rhino. You can see the female just walking across to our right now. She has been wallowing already. You can see on her back there's a distinct little muddy patch up there. Definitely a white rhino. You can see that hump in the middle of her back as well. Head's really low. She's feeding on all the grasses, the green grasses that occur low down in the drainage lines and lower lying areas of this part of the reserve. They pick up quite a lot more rain. The water table is a lot closer to the surface, so they stay green for quite a while longer. We have some other exciting animals to add to this shot as well. Just on our side, if you come down a tiny little bit below the tree that rhino has walked behind, there's a beautiful view of a male cheetah. He's part of the Southern Coalition. I thought I saw his brother when we were arriving, but from where we are now, we can only see the one. So I think what's happened is they haven't been able to hunt successfully for a little while, maybe a little bit hungry. So they decided that they'd come down and have a drink of water. So cheetah don't drink water too often. They are what we call water independent. So for the most part, they can get their moisture out of their kills. But if they don't hunt big animals for a little while, a couple of days, then just topping themselves up, topping the tank up with water is a good way of keeping them going, especially at a place like Phinda, where after we've had a couple of rains, there's quite a lot of water lying around. I'm sure you can hear, while we've been sitting here, all the different birds that are calling. We've got some fever trees next to us that are chock-a-block with weaver's nests, and all sorts of birds calling here. There's a little cesticula up in the tree that's calling. It would be really nice if these cheetah got up and moved, but they do look extremely, extremely comfy just underneath the shade of this tree where they're lying. Odie, if you zoom onto that little dead tree that's just in front of the cheetah to the left. Oh, cheetah looks like he might be getting up, poking its head up. But on that tree just to the left, there's a gorgeous bird, lilac-breasted roller. Oh, there the cheetah up. You can see the brother is now just behind the tree. Very fluffy belly of the one on the right. All fluffed up there, maybe from lying down. And they might actually have had something to eat in the last little while. He looks quite full from where I'm sitting now. Either that or he drank a lot of water. I couldn't be too sure. So I believe, well, just as we arrived here, the rhino and cheetah were interacting a little bit. The rhino not too happy with the presence of the cheetah, so they gave them a bit of a hard time. That young male's now lying down, and you can really see the bulge in the stomach. He's looking a little bit round at the moment. Those beautiful black spots. There goes the lilac-breasted roller flying across to the side now. Just landed on the ground, maybe picking up an insect. I wouldn't be surprised. No, it's flown off to a different perch now. I was going to say I wouldn't be surprised if it turned around and flew back to the same tree it had been sitting on, but not to be. Every now and again you'll see a little white butterfly flying through the scene. We've got this really, really lush grass here at the moment, which is always beautiful to see, and you can imagine for those rhino, it's a really, really good place to be. And it's not only the rhino that'll enjoy being here, so we'll also see lots of zebra. We've passed quite a few wildebeest and impala on the way down. So all the grazing animals that we've got around here are very, very happy. The zebra and wildebeest have all started having calves, and the wildebeest especially are quite far into the birthing season now. We've been seeing lots of young wildebeest around, and of course lots of impala. And for the cheetah and the lions, that's all really good for them, because those animals, the youngsters, are a lot easier to hunt, which is one of the sadder parts of nature, but really important and a vital part of our ecosystem here and how it works. It has been an absolute pleasure driving you guys around this morning. It was really beautiful getting to see that lion. I'm so stoked we got to follow her for so long. It was a really incredible thing. I think for the better part of 2 hours, we were just trailing behind her, watching her do her thing. It's always really exciting. And for animals that usually spend a lot of time sleeping, quite a different sighting that we had with her this morning. Please don't forget to follow us all on our social media platforms. You can send your questions through to WildEarth on their website or on Twitter. And we hope to see you again this afternoon. We'll be back out here this afternoon exploring Phinda and all of the other reserves, and it would be lovely to see you there. But from the team at Phinda, have a great day, and we'll see you later.
And features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.